Thank you very much. Welcome to today's urgent press briefing. I've got our Secretary General, Honorable Nakacinda, is going to speak to 4 items. Number one, the United Nations, through its experts on human rights and good governance, have issued a very damning report against the government of President Hakainde Hichilema. Honorable Nakacinda will speak to that and speak to the report. We have the detention of Gen Z coordinator and his colleague who were merely holding a one-man protest at Freedom Square. This is Jason Wanza and Chanda Chkwakwa that have been detained. And we have former council chairperson for Kafue, Thomas Zulu, who has also been detained. And there's been just a new development. We've since learned from our lawyers that Honorable Nakacinda and myself have been summoned for possible arrest on Monday. Honorable Nakacinda, kindly speak to, you can start with the issue of the United Nations report by special rapporteurs on human rights that have condemned Zambia for human rights abuse, for silencing parliament, and for attacking defenders of good governance and human rights.
Thank you very much, Ambassador, and thank you and welcome to those who are listening to us wherever you are, and those who are following this discussion via different platforms where we're featuring. True, the report that has come from the UN has not only confirmed and also condemned issues of abuse of human rights, brutality by the police and UPND cadres against the opposition, members and leaders, and those that hold divergent views against the views of those that are in government, the UPND and the president himself. We have been presenting to the Zambian people evidence of this abuse, and through our chairman for information, I think the Zambians have been kept abreast at every juncture when any of the citizens, or indeed those that have held divergent views, that have been harassed, arrested, unjustly, treated either by the law enforcement agencies or other ones. Mine, Ambassador, is to say that first, this report is an indictment against the different stakeholders that indirectly have been accomplices to the abuse that the UPND have subjected its own citizens to. The church has been, strangely quiet this time around. Civil society is non-existent. People have been asking questions about where is the voice of the Human Rights Commission in Zambia. Other faith-based organizations in this country have equally been quiet. Different stakeholders like TIZ and others have been quiet even when it comes to the issues of the fight against corruption. The ugly head of this abuse by the UPND government is now beginning to pop up and manifest in Geneva and other places, which is very, very unfortunate. It looks like there is a spell that has been cast on the church and other stakeholders that they cannot see or really respond as expected to some of the things that the UPND are doing that are a threat not only to human rights and freedoms that people should enjoy, but also a threat to democracy. What has happened to Patriotic Front at the instigation and sponsorship of the UPND, and the strange conduct of ECZ in wanting to authenticate and validate the illegalities that have been occasioned around the Patriotic Front as a political party by the UPND, the abuse that the Registrar of Society Director General subjected to when she decided to stand on the truth and make sure that the right thing is done. And the abuse that has continued even, over the person that is acting in her position, who had to put herself on leave because of the legalities that they were wanting to impose on her to undertake. All that is an indictment against those that are expected to advocate and speak for justice, and speak for democracy, and speak for the rights and freedoms of citizens. The evidence that is currently before us, the arrest of young people who have just chosen to express themselves at individual level about their dissatisfaction towards the high cost of living and other ills that the UPND have brought about in their governance. They notified, Jackson Mwanza notified the police of his own protest. And the law only provides that you have to give a notice to the police if you are going to either assemble or indeed undertake a procession. There is nowhere where the law requires that you get a permit from the police. The Christine Munundika case is very clear, about that position. And unfortunately, from the time that the Home Affairs Minister and many government operatives who are basically minions of Mr. HH, who have been propagating that with the new cyber security law, which they have enhanced, they are going to now start arresting people. They have arrested not only Jackson Mwanza, they have arrested Mr. Thomas Zulu of Kafue, who was council chairperson at some point in Kafue, and a diplomat, purely for two things. One, he found himself by coincidence at City Market when the former president decided to pass through there, and he decided to greet him. And having been seen in pictures, they have been harassing him until they picked him without a call out or anything, picked him like a common criminal and took him to an unknown place. We're just discovering that yesterday, that's when they deposited him in Osaka Central Police. The friend to Jackson Mwanza and many others who have been arrested. As we speak today, we have been a target for the past 1 week. I went to the police to go and ask why they keep on we keep on receiving signals or the fact that the police have been unleashed, they are looking for you and all these things. When we got there, they placed me on warn and caution for a press briefing that we had in July in defense of our friends who we believe have been unfairly convicted. Honorable Chilangwa, Honorable Chitotela, our council chairperson in Kawambwa, and 3 others on a matter or charge that was basically, or a crime that was orchestrated by UPND. And our comments, as far as the police are concerned, they were not happy with them because we are touching, according to them, the presidency. They forget the fact that the presidency is a product of politics. And when it comes to providing checks and balances, we have to start with him. Actually, the buck stops as Mr. Kainde Ichirema, because everything that is done within UPND and in government is done on his behalf and in his name, because everybody appointed in government is appointed in the name of the president and they act in the name of the president, and therefore the buck stops at the president. And we cannot not ever provide checks and balances effectively without bringing the president, who was given the mandate to supervise all these his appointees. The issue of our arrest, we are ready, but it's part of the evidence confirming what the UN report is talking about. The only thing I can conclude with, Ambassador, is to call upon all members of Patriotic Front, the entire leadership, from the president, the vice president, the central committee, members of parliament, council chairpersons, councillors, and all our members across the board. The assignment we have and the call from the Zambian people is that they have already given a red card to UPND. They are calling on us to, first of all, make sure that the unit of purpose is achieved, because the decision is already made to form government again. But we can only form government working in unison and guarantee that the unit of purpose is what is going to usher us into government in 2026. As your Secretary General, Chairman for Information, the entire Central Committee, under the able leadership of the President, President Edgar Takalungu, the Vice President Binda, we will continue to steer the ship in the direction towards answering the call from the Zambian people to be able to actualize the fact that they view us and see us as an alternative government. 2026, we are sharpening all the skills necessary, and we are obviously having taken introspection, correcting areas that may have been uncomfortable for the Zambian people towards 2021 elections, so that we can present ourselves afresh for 2026. Thank you very much, and God bless.